Thank you so much, Jumai. Of course, we say tax is a major fiscal policy tool that the government uses to achieve macroeconomic goals. One of which is, of course, to stimulate economic growth and development. You will also want to use tax to also stimulate employment and also redistribute wealth. These are some of the goals that governments all over the world pursue. In the case of Nigeria, it became obvious that our tax system, our tax laws, are, if you like, outdated. Okay, some of the laws we are operating today, if you look at, for example, the Stamp Duties Act of 2004, you are looking at even the VAT. Of course, the VAT was first introduced in 1993, and then subsequently we had amendments. Then you talk about the personal income tax. Okay, we also had amendments, I think up to 2011. We have the company's income tax, and so on and so forth. So, it became obvious that, it was time that these tax laws, became modernized. And that was why one of the objectives of the tax reforms, is to modernize, the tax laws. And apart from modernizing them, there was also the need to even streamline them. You have pieces of tax laws here and there. So there was the need to harmonize them into one tax law. And that's why the first one you find there is the Nigerian tax bill. Yes. The Nigerian tax bill seeks to harmonize all these pieces of tax laws, whether it is the PIT, the CIT. I've told you the meanings of them. The stamp duties, the VAT, harmonize them. Then there is also the issue of even tax administration. Okay, again, there's also the need to modernize tax administration, and more importantly, to even integrate tax administration and simplify tax administration in Nigeria. And that's why we also, in addition to the Nigerian tax bill, we also have the Nigerian tax administration bill. All right? And then there is also the issue of even the relationship between the fiscal federalism, if you like, relationship between the federal government and the subnationals. Again, in terms of revenue, administration and collection. And if also when disputes arise, between these tiers of government, what do you do? So that's also why we also have the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill. Okay, what that does, of course, currently we have the Joint Tax Board. Okay, the Joint Tax Board that is also, if you like, comprising membership is owned by the federal and the state, but that is only limited to issues around personal income tax. But the Joint Revenue Board, okay, has a broader mandate. And within the Joint Revenue Board, we also have, for the first time, the establishment of what we call the tax ombudsman. The tax ombudsman is that...
what does it do?
Yes, to protect the taxpayer, essentially. So when a taxpayer, for example, is served with a wrong assessment, where does he run to? Who does he complain to? So that is why you also have in that joint revenue establishment a tax ombudsman. And finally, there are 4 of them. Okay, they also have the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment bill. That's the 4th one. Again, what does it do? It also tries to streamline tax collection. Okay, so it seeks to replace the Federal Inland Revenue Service with the Nigerian Revenue Service, Nigerian Revenue Service, okay, which will now have the responsibility of collecting taxes that go to the federation account. So they will have a case of the Nigerian Port Authority collecting revenue, the Customs collecting revenue, the NIMASA collecting revenue. Let the Customs face their primary responsibility of border control and trade facilitation. The collection should be done by Nigerian Revenue Service. So that's the intention. But the assessment of what is to be paid will still remain within the purview of Customs. It's just that the collection will be done by a central agent. So that will of course reduce a lot of cuts, plug a lot of loopholes more importantly, improve collection efficiency. So the whole idea of these tax reforms, as I said earlier on, is to modernize our tax system and ensure that collection efficiency is achieved. And more importantly, well, in the course of this discussion, I will talk about use tax to redistribute wealth, use tax to improve employment, to create employment opportunities, also use tax to stimulate economic growth and development. That is the primary objective of these tax reforms.
All right.